Hello and welcome to our Gold participants. I'm Fiona Lang Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Learning. Well, today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Joy MacTavish, who is going to be speaking at our upcoming Gold Lactation Conference, which starts on April 3rd. And she's going to be presenting on sending reports, what's in it for IBCLCs. So welcome back to Gold, Joy. It's so great to have you here today.
Thanks so much, Fiona.
Well, isn't this a great topic? I feel like this is something that's a little bit untouched, and sometimes it feels quite a foreign, for some of us, anyways. And respectively, I know there's lots of people that are probably listening right now that send reports as an automatic. They don't even think about it. But I do know that there's lots of IBCLCs out there that probably have lots of questions about this, and is it that important? And so I know you're going to get into all of that during your presentation, but let's back up a little bit. And why don't we have you introduce yourself to our listening audience today and tell them why you actually became interested in this topic?
Yes, I became interested in this topic because I think, like you mentioned, I was someone who, when I became a lactation consultant, I was just trained that this is what we do. After you see a family, you write the report and you send it to the care providers. And it had never been something that I questioned until sometime last year. I had a couple of different discussions, one in person and one online, about the idea of sending reports. And it came to my attention that some people don't, and that different people have different IBCLCs have very different feelings about reports. And some people, really dislike the idea of needing to do it. It feels like a burden. Some people, feel like it's an obligation that we must do. And so it really made me start thinking about kind of what is the obligation? Where does that end? What are the ethics behind it? And for those of us who feel like we want to or need to, how can we really help to kind of frame it in a way that feels like something that we can and want to do? And how can we make it as streamlined as possible so that it doesn't feel like a burden?
Absolutely. Yeah, some great thoughts there, Joy. And I too have had some conversations similar to yours, and I know that when this topic does come up, there is a huge difference in what people are doing, which is very interesting because, it is part of our principles, part of our code of ethics as, IBCLCs. So it'll be interesting to hear, just as you go through this presentation, it'll be interesting to hear some of the responses from our delegates. So I can't wait to hear all of you who are listening right now be able to jump in and chat with us more about this. But I'm looking forward to hearing what you actually have to say about it as well, Joy. So tell me, when you were sort of going through, and putting this presentation together, what struck you as the most important part of this presentation?
Well, I think that a lot of people a lot of IBCLCs want to be able to write reports and want it to be something that they can do effectively and that becomes part of their practice. I think a lot of us are doing it, but maybe it feels more time consuming than we'd like, or it feels like, what's the point of doing this sometimes? Like, I'm doing it, but is anybody reading it? Does this make a difference in anybody's care or in the care provider's perspective? And I feel like one of the things that I wanted to try to get a sense of um, is just how can we make it as kind of reframe that and then make it as smooth of a possible experience. And I got a lot of feedback when I was creating this about how much people want it to feel more simple and more easy to do that. And so we're going to spend some time during the talk talking about how to do that and some templates and some different systems that people can put in place. And so I think that that's really been the important thing about this topic is kind of the not just like why we should and it's all good, but how to make it so that people can implement these things into their practice should they feel like that's an important part for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to me that because we do come in from different pathways to become IBCLCs, th I think that maybe has led to some of that inconsistency in how or why, the reports are sent or to whom and those types of things. And then, of course, Joy, there is that factor that we are international. board board certified lactation
Yep.
consultants. So, there are different countries around the world that will be dealing with different dynamics, which again puts a whole different spin on this. Again, were you able to talk to people outside of North America or your own country about this?
I was. I got some responses from others, especially in the United Kingdom, about kind of their method. And so there they have each child has a booklet that they write in. And so it's not maybe the same kind of formal written report that somebody in private practice in the United States might be using. And I'm sure that there's going to be different delegates that can chime in during the presentation and afterwards about their experiences, and I'd love to hear more about that. But I was able to get
Yeah.
some information from IBCLCs in other parts of the world, and I think that that is, an important piece to consider because it's not going to be the same. And so one of the things that I want everybody to be able to take away is that, we each need to figure out what's going to work for our practice and that there won't be any one right way to do this, but that hopefully thinking through some of the benefits to sending reports to the clients and to your practice and to kind of the professionalism of the lactation consultant field will hopefully help folks think through some of those generalities and then boil it down to kind of what is going to work for them.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I was interesting hearing you talk about the UK, and of course, I was thinking about my home country now, which is Canada. And then I was thinking a little bit further. I was thinking, well, I'm not sure what everybody does here right across Canada. Like, I know what people do locally as IBCLCs, but it would be fascinating to actually hear, like, even on that bigger spectrum of, different types of reporting, or, are they able to send reports in different areas? Because this goes back to how we say practice, as IBCLC. So if you're in private practice, or if you're in the actually in hospitals, it's going to be different again. But yeah, I like your spin on it in terms of sort of just reaching, finding out what's happening in your area, making sure that you are doing some type of reporting, and of course it will be different for each one of us. But it'll be great to hear some of those tools that you're going to give us, right? And so I'm excited. I'm excited to hear more what you have to say about it for sure. Is there any last thoughts that you want to let our delegates know that you're looking forward to spending time with them?
Yeah, I'm just really interested in hearing kind of what other people are doing and why. I think that the why often gives us the insight into kind of what's working or what's not working for folks,
Right.
and I really want this to be something that that is really about kind of making it a positive thing, making it something that is feels doable and feels like something that will hopefully be a point of reflection for folks because I think that sometimes we
Right.
just do things and this is just how we've always done them and,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll be able to kind of say like, oh wait, actually there might be something that would help
Right.
make this faster or easier or
Mhm.
more concise or more consistent in what I'm doing. And so if it's a moment of reflection or somebody takes away something that will help them be able to kind of serve their families that they work with in a more effective way, then that would be great to hear. But I think that it'll be exciting to have those discussions, and I love being a part of Gold and being able to see the chats and being in the forums afterwards and things like that. So I think that'll be good to get that information from all of the delegates too.
Well, absolutely. I now have a whole list of questions for you. But we don't have time to go through them all today, but I've just thought of a whole bunch of other things. I'll save them for the day, Joy, okay? So that
Great. Sounds good.
we can share them with all the delegates. But now I've come away with more questions. I'm thinking, oh, I should ask her this. But that's great. No, that means that obviously it's evoking, a lot of sort of thought in my process, and I too, I'm interested now to hear from others, just as you are, about what's happening in their neck of the woods in their countries and those types of things. But let's wrap things up today, and we'll let you get on with your day. And I know thanks to again for being here and just chatting about this. So coming up, you're going to be speaking. This one is going to be on Monday, the 17th of April. So for everyone listening in, check out our website at goldlactation.com. You can check out the schedule to see what time, the local time it's going to be in your area. But I am certainly looking forward to hearing more from Joy MacTavish. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Fiona.
And I can't wait to hear more about sending reports, what's in it for the IBCLCs. Thanks again, and thank you to our listening audience.